Hello, everyone. You are welcome. Hello. Hello, Tape. You are welcome. Good evening. You're muted, please.
Yes, I. Good evening, Mary.
How are you today?
Ah, my dear. I just thank God. Let me just say I thank God. I'm well. I got home not too long ago from the other event I spoke to you about. And
Yes.
anyway, I'm just glad I made it home in good time.
Yeah. So nice. Okay, hello, everyone. You're
How are you
welcome.
today?
I'm fine, though. I'm fine. The weather has been a bit dry and somehow the weather is has been
Somehow
somehow slow.
chilly.
Yes. So, and I don't know, it has been affecting me. But besides that, I'm fine.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Yes.
sorry,
I
dear.
just feel like closing up all the windows and just not breathing in the external air because the external air
Sorry,
seems
dear.
seems to be doing a lot of damage. But we'll be fine. It's one of those things.
And it won't be comfortable. I would have suggested that maybe you wear a mask within the house, but inside the house, I mean, it won't be comfortable.
No, at all. That one we'll not be dealing with another thing again. No, it's fine. We'll get over it.
Really, yeah.
At least we are not in snow.
We would have adjusted. We would have, I mean, if it's part of our own weather, we would have acclimatized to it and adjusted, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for coming. Let's get right into it. Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the Millionaire Teacher Show. And we are currently on our series, My Journey, My Story, where educators come to share their journeys and their stories in the education space. So today we have our guest, a very, very honorable. Hmm, You don't want to know all the things that this lady has done. Like, if you begin to count them, we'll not count them enough. But please do welcome Temitope Ifegbesan. You're welcome. All right, so let's get right
Thank you,
into
Mary.
it. Let me read a bio for us so that we get to know her, and then she would start telling us her journey and her story because it's going to be quite an interesting one. All right, so here we go. Temitope Ifegbesan is a highly experienced educator and social development professional with 11 years of experience in the educator sector. She has a proven track record of creating positive change through her work as a teacher and mentor. Her expertise in education leadership, combined with her strong communication and project management skills, have carved a niche for her in the education sector, where she has where she has extensive experience working with organizations like Teach for Nigeria and Profuturo to train hundreds of school teachers on 21st century pedagogy and leadership. She has also served as a two-time program coordinator at Teach for Nigeria Training Institute and is an alumni of the Teach for All Global Girls Education Fellowship, where she served on the leadership team as a community champion. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Temitope demonstrated her leadership by working on a team to create a radio content for continued learning for children without access to the internet. You can imagine that. This is just small. Oh. She also created video learning resources at each. Temitope trained as an managing leader at Yali RLC and has several certificates in education, leadership, and gender from reputable institutions, organizations, and fellowships. She was a top four finalist in the Teach for Nigeria Fellow of the Year award, emerged a semi-finalist in the Active Citizenship in Education award, and won the Green Education Support Initiative Most Influential award. Temitope's leadership is evident through her service as the pioneer president of the Teach for Nigeria Alumni Association, a former network connector for Teach for All, and a governing council member at Babes Redefined International. Her dedication to education and continuous learning earned her recognition as the best female teacher in professional development at Bloomsbury High School, where she previously served as a year level head. She currently works as an instructional coach in the AL for Education Master Teacher Program at African Leadership Academy, where she guides teacher research and inquiry and provides ongoing professional development support to our teachers. Temitope is passionate about and actively propagates the gospel of school-wide positive culture. She enjoys singing, trying out food, and traveling. Please, let's give Temitope a flowers. Woo, woo, woo. All of this, all of this,
Remind me to make that brief next time.
all of this, only you. So when I celebrated you as on Wednesday as Woman Crush, I couldn't use all of it. I had to remove a part of it, because
Yeah.
Instagram said the other thing. But today I just had to read everything.
Mhm.
I just had to read everything. Wow, you've gone
Thank
round and
you.
round and round. You've not just been at one spot. So tell us, how did this journey start with you?
Absolutely.
How did this journey start with you? What inspired you
Okay.
to get into education?
Okay. First, good evening, everyone. Well, as Mary has said, my name is Temitope Ifegbesan. Okay, it's actually there on the screen. Um, I'm wondering whether to pick it from. No, maybe not. Let me just start from when I started professionally. Was NYSC. I studied communication and language arts at the University of Ibadan, and when I went for my youth service in Katsina, um, I mean, I just naturally would have loved to be in a broadcast house or something that would afford me being able to practice some of the things I had learned at school. But I was posted to a school. In my mind, I was like, but this has to be the dumbest of decisions. What are these people thinking, right? How do you even do this to someone? It's like you just want to distract them or just disrupt their destiny, something like that. I was actually pretty cross. Um, but I was posted to a private school, and I was told to teach English and literature. Honestly, I got even more angry about that situation. Why would I teach two subjects? I was teaching GSS 1 to SS 2 for English. Oh God, it was crazy. I didn't like it at first, but that was where I got in. That was how I started it. And at that point, I didn't particularly have mastery of the subject, but I had something. It was relationships, and relationships paved the way both with the learners and with the school management and even other teachers. Honestly, really, I would say relationships actually did pave the way for me. I was in the north. I mean, I had to be open minded, and being open minded also taught me, gave me a lot of room to be more culturally aware. And the more I became culturally aware, the more access I had, to these people. And because of the relationship formed, I was able to thrive in my role there as an English teacher. So that was where it started. And by the time I by the time I completed NYSC, I told the management I wanted to stay back. I mean, I already, loved it so much, enjoyed. I loved working with the kids. They were teenagers and they were very curious. They were very fun to be with. And I mean, I was helping to, mentor some of them, especially the girls. A number of girls were, saved in quotes from, getting married and, at that age and things like that. So I told them I wanted to stay back, and they asked, in fact, they were very glad to have me stay back. Unfortunately, my dad got ill. I think after I'd done a month or thereabouts, my dad got ill and I had to come back to Lagos. So coming back to Lagos, I had to search for another job and things like that. I did get a job eventually in a property firm. But something started to happen. I wasn't concentrating. I kept thinking about my kids back in Katsina. I kept longing to be back in the classroom. I missed the classroom so much. And 3 months after, I tendered my resignation and went to look for a job in a school. Okay, so because I didn't have any education certification or anything, I wasn't confident. So I mean, I was just willing to accept whatever school, right? Though I did try to apply to some big schools, but I recognized that, I mean, I didn't have any particular certification that would make the big schools consider me. But I was willing to start from, the bottom, and but not stay there, work my way up. So I started at the school. I started on 20,000 naira. Everybody thought that that had to be another level of madness unlocked, because my basic salary at my initial job was 70,000 naira. That's excluding the commission that would come in from the number of clients that I brought in per month. So everybody thought, what? I don't understand. Why would you leave a 70,000 naira job? Like, even if you don't bring um any
Client.
clients in months, you will still get your 70,000 naira. Maybe, well, with plenty complaints, maybe with a query though, but you still get your 70,000 naira basic. Why would you leave that and come to board? The truth of the matter is, the moment I started, I had peace of mind. It felt like home sweet home. And and then the journey started there. What I started to do was I started to gain mastery. So I was intentional about my steps. I was intentional about my pathway. I decided that, since it looks like this is where I want to be, it looks like this is where I'm comfortable, it looks like I didn't even fully understand whether it was a calling for me yet, but I mean, it felt like home. Then I knew that I needed to make the most of it. I knew that I mustn't leave the same way I came, that I must be better, right? And one of the things I always ensure that I let myself know and let myself do is the fact that as much as I will give to the students, as much as I will give to the school, as much as I will give to whatever tasks come on the job, I must give to myself. So as I'm growing the kids, helping the school to grow, I must be growing as well, so that I don't finish all of that and lose myself, right? So so at that job, that place, I was able to, gain mastery, subject knowledge. I became better at subject knowledge. I was very intentional about it, and then I really enjoyed it, until I did 2 years there, then moved on to. So this time I was a bit more confident, right? Because of my subject mastery now, I was a bit more confident about applying to a big school. I applied to an international school in Ilorin. It's a big school, Romix International School, and I got. I mean, I didn't believe, I didn't believe I would get it, but I did get it, and it felt so simple. There's something about preparation, of course. So you don't say, oh, when the opportunity comes, then when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it and things like that. If you want any particular opportunity, you want a role, you want whatever, even if it's a promotion you want, where you are now, start preparing for it, start acting in that capacity, and then when it comes, it's easy for you to embrace it, right? So that was what happened with moving from Apollyon to Romix. And so at Romix, I got my first feel of being, in an international school, an international community. I mean, it had a mixed there were kids of expatriates there, and Nigerian kids and stuff. So there, I mean, I kept, upgrading myself, but I became a I became a better teacher. Here, I was introduced to tech in education, the use of the smart boards and technology to teach and all of that. So I started getting better, and because those things were new to me, because they didn't exist in the previous school, they were new to me. Of course, it put me on my toes to also, be up to par, right, and even exceed it, right. Then after that, I did 2 years also in Romix. So I think, in a way, I kind of have a penchant for 2 years stay at a place. I will tell you that basically, even though it wasn't always something that I planned, but I would say that it's been favorable. I'll come maybe later on. I'll come back to why I think that it is favorable. Please remind me if I don't mention it.
All
But
right.
why moving jobs has been favorable for me. So from Romix, I heard about Teach for Nigeria. I was still at Romix when I heard about Teach for Nigeria, and going to the website and reading about what they did, and I mean, I was moved, because there I could deeply resonate, because I was just like those kids. As a matter of fact, I I mean, those kids were even in school already, right? Maybe they weren't just getting quality education and stuff. As a matter of fact, I almost missed out on getting an education by this. Like, I was that close to missing out on getting an education. I mean, I was just found and given a scholarship, and now that
Wow.
they just changed my trajectory basically. So I mean, I just felt, oh, so these kids are like me. They're living in underserved communities, some in slums and things like that. And what is the probability that each of them would find someone that would offer them a scholarship, just as it did that has it happened with me and stuff. I'm like, okay, so why don't I go? Okay, why don't I go there and basically just see what I can do, make my own mark in their lives as a way of kind of giving back, right? And leaving Romix later on, immediately I saw the website. I mean, I was gingered. I started to think, why don't I just go back? Let me go and give back this. But later on, as I was thinking about it, I was like, hey, Romix was like my comfort zone. like I mean, I had an apartment to myself, furnished apartment. I wasn't paying transportation. I wasn't paying rent. I wasn't paying for feeding and all of those things. Was my comfort zone. Even professionally, I mean, you're not stressing. And I want to go to maybe one village. Maybe they'll post me to one village somewhere. I started to think about it again, but then I decided, let's do this. Let's do this. I mean, it's 2 years. Let me commit to this. And I think it was one of the best decisions that I made. And I mean, it's still reaping. I'm still reaping the fruit of it till date. So I got into Teach for Nigeria, and that was mind blowing. The things that my eyes were opened to about education, about pedagogy, 21st century teaching and learning skills, 21st century methodologies. Like I've been playing since all these years. I've been, I mean, so much about creativity, critical thinking, fun ways of teaching. Hey, those were extremely new to me. And I couldn't wait to, start working with the kids, because we had a 6 week pre-service training. Then I got posted to Ijebu Ife, Christ Anglican Primary School in Ijebu Ife, in a rural community in Ogun State. But I mean, I embraced this, and I think that was where my passion for social development also came out a lot more, right? Because there were a lot of challenges, and I mean, I sort of just had the opportunity to make impact. And I started looking for ways to make this impact. Some of the things that I was able to achieve included, getting uniforms sewn for kids that didn't have uniform, or were wearing tattered uniforms to school, and sandals and stuff. Maybe even some medical care for learners, supporting learners with transportation to school and from school, so that there isn't any excuse of why they're not coming to school. Feeding was constant, because I mean, you would just see a child that that is normally active, right? Maybe on a Monday morning, just placing their head on the desk, or just looking all morose and everything, and you just know that if that child is not sick, is hungry. And so I mean, I made that a project from my stipends. I was basically attending to that. Eventually, I mean, I started to reach out to people, tell my story. I wrote a lot of stories, almost sometimes maybe 3-4 per week. I called it Chronicles of a TFM Fellow. I used to write a lot of stories. I put it on Facebook about what was going on in my classroom and things like that. But my focus there that year, that was a phase of impact for me. Towards the end of it, I had to, we always did what we called a be the change project. I figured that when I leave, for instance, and the next fellow who comes, what if their own idea of making an impact is not in the path that I had told, basically taking care of sorting out the welfare of these kids and stuff. What if that's not their own path, that they want to tow? Then it will mean that these kids will be stranded again. They won't have books again, and they'll be beaten for books, for notebooks, or beaten because they've not paid one levy or whatever. So those things that I was taking care of, I decided, let me even find out, why are these parents unable to sort these things out in the first place. Doing some survey, visiting homes and all of that, I saw that it was mostly the mothers that were taking care of the kids. Many of them had absent fathers, some mothers, some grandmothers. So many of them had absent fathers. Some don't even know who the father is, and things like that. Really messed up situations. And then some where maybe they had businesses that they were managing or stuff, but they had way too many children and could only maybe afford to feed them once a day. That's even if once a day came. I mean, it was so bad that you would see that some kids, the lunch that government would serve them, they would keep it, they'll not eat it, they'll keep it and take home, because that's all the food they're going to see for that day, right? So it was that bad. and I wanted to ensure that none of those things was impeding learning, because there's no way any hungry child will learn. There's no creativity I want to bring into the classroom. There's no 21st century anything I want to do. Once the child is hungry, the child is sick, the child is not settled or balanced emotionally, that nothing will enter, right? So for my Be the Change project, I eventually found out that it was the mothers doing many of these things. I decided, okay, so let's look for a way. I had a partner, so we decided, let's look for a way to empower these women so that they have the financial capacity to take care of their children when we've left the community and stuff. So, and that was how we created Empower Initiative. And we did financial literacy seminars for women across two LGAs in Ogun State. We did a couple of financial literacy seminars before we went into vocational training. So there were 6 skills, and they were to choose which one they wanted to learn. And then after the training, we gave items that they will use to start the business. So maybe, for instance, someone that learned soap making, we bought all of the things they would need for their soap making and gave them, right? And we didn't want to hand them money. And then for some other people, we gave them interest-free soft loan. We gave some other people micro grants. All of these were from our stipends, like yeah. So then I think during the COVID, we also with sponsorship from my some of my friends, and then my cousin Lolly, were able to then, yes, and some other, I think, sponsors from Teach for Nigeria. We didn't know who, but they reached out to through Teach for Nigeria, were able to distribute food items around communities and all of that during that pandemic where hunger was hitting so bad, people could not go out and all of that, but we were risking it, we're going out. I mean, even during that time, I ensured that my kids, I was still teaching them, but I was teaching in small clusters, every day. I would trek a long distance because there was no vehicle, and go to teach them in small clusters so that they will not lose a lot of them, because they didn't have internet, they didn't have things like that. At first, I started with WhatsApp, and then sometimes for some text message. Maybe later, maybe I will send you screenshots of some of those things. I would try to type 3, 4, 3 space, put 4, then enter, put plus, and just try to set the addition or the subtraction or whatever. And I would send to them by text message. I would send to them via WhatsApp. I think eventually it was only one parent that was even responsive on WhatsApp. Many of them didn't have any WhatsApp enabled phone. So eventually I decided I was just going to be going into the community and teach. So that was also something very fulfilling. And then by the time we're done, some of the parents already, maybe someone that was a tailor, someone that was a teacher, for instance, that's now started soap making or making air freshener and things like that. They now became people that had, dual sources of income, right? Mrs. Babatunde, Mommy Fair, I mean, she expanded her plantain business, to other markets and stuff due to the micro grants that she got and things like that. So it was just like a time for impact. That's a phase for serious, tangible.
Hello. Hello, did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because Teach for Nigeria is only 2 years, at the end of 2 years, I completed Bloombreed in Port Harcourt, and at Bloombreed, I got a chance to showcase not just subject mastery, but also leadership. Bloombridge wasn't a simple environment to work, and then there was a lot of course, competition. Is a large, is a big school. So if you don't want to just disappear while you are right there, I mean, you've got to be on your toes and all of that. And so this was my phase of working with many of the leaders at the same time, multitasking. I was trainers was stressful, but I mean, to an extent, I knew what I was doing. And don't forget, I always say it to myself at the back of my mind. I mean, you can't, don't just lose yourself. Don't just forget yourself in the shadows. Don't anything that will make you rise. I mean, just do it. So I was consistently on my toes at Bloombridge, showcasing my leadership, winning awards. And yeah, so that phase was also a great journey because we gave a lot. I gave a lot at Bloombridge, and it was also a place for me to get a lot, like in terms of certifications and things like that. I didn't play at all. I didn't no, I didn't play. And then it was from there I moved on to ALE, African Leadership Academy. I'm in the African Leadership for Education, African Leadership for Education under ALE. And here I moved outside of the classroom a little bit because I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher for life. So so while I am not directly teaching kids every day as I used to do in the before, I get to work with teachers. Why this is a blessing for me is because I am very big on professional development. Teachers that complain, teachers that feel like they're on one spot, teachers that feel like teach that maybe affirm what the world says about the fact that, oh, teachers are poor. Yeah, we understand that teachers are underpaid and things like that, but teachers that carry that mentality, check very well. They are also not developing themselves. They're also, maybe they're waiting for the school to put them through professional development or whatever. And like we always say, nobody's coming to save you. This is your profession, this is your career. Take it, put it in your hands and drive it, drive it into the places that you want to be. So I understand the fact that prof- sometimes teachers may not have time to pursue professional development. Sometimes they may not have the resources, sometimes financial, to pursue professional development. So, what my job now allows me to do is to be there on ground and give ongoing professional development. So, with my teachers, I'm doing we're consulting before they do their lesson. We're consulting on the plans, best practice for whatever subject. Then I'm going into those classrooms, I'm observing my teachers, I'm supporting them, to as they're working, manage the class. So it's not like somebody is coming to observe me or to witch hunt me and things like that. It's a collaborative effort. And then we're finishing that, and then giving feedback um, concerning the class and things like that, doing innovative practices, and just basically also getting the children to take ownership of their learning. And then one of the things I've realized is when children have ownership of their learning, when that agency is up to par, trust me, all of the teacher burnout will reduce. I'm going to give
Yeah.
you an instance. There was a class, a social studies class on gender discrimination, and the teacher might as well have come to the class to reel out everything, the textbook. Gender discrimination is this, don't do this, don't do that, and things like that. But we wanted it to be experiential for for the learners, right? We needed to be experiential for the learners. We needed them to take hold of it and run with it, because it's something that happens in our society, so that they know how to act, and they know how to support whomever is a victim, and they know how to support whomever, or stop whoever is doing, maybe perpetrating that kind of act and things like that. So from conversations, we did a lot of, first of all, did a pre-lesson survey to understand what they know or what they don't know. I mean, we saw a lot of miseducation from their responses to the survey. And then after the survey, we had a couple of class discussions. It was from there the children would say, oh, this happens to me at home. Oh, this person did this with that, these things and things like that. Honestly, it was a 3-week lesson, and it was so rich, to the point that the children at the end of it did flyers, individually, and pasted all over the school about saying no to gender discrimination and things like, because we also now observe that, oh, maybe some teachers that were actually doing it unconsciously, not intentionally, right? And then also they did an assembly presentation to sensitize the whole school. They did a school-wide campaign to sensitize parents, as in they literally took it out of the teacher's hands and handled it, right? And that's the way learning should go. They will, if they forget anything, in like anything they learned at all, before then or after then, they will not forget that particular lesson. And that's just a lesson that the teacher decided to go the extra mile by engaging the children. The teacher didn't even have to do much apart from introducing the topic, doing a pre-survey, and things like that. You get? So we teachers need to know how to reduce burnout, by not because we just want to give the children work and tasks, not because we want to laze around and things like that, no, but because in this day and age we cannot just be spoon feeding them, right? So getting them to do those things, creating room for collaboration, creating room for critical thinking, creating room for problem solving among students. We will be saying that, oh, I'm preparing them for the future of work. Trust me, the future of work is already here. Like now, it is already operational now. So it's important that we begin to prepare, no, not prepare, we begin to let the kids, give them room to operate in what already is, right? So yeah, that's what I do at ALA. I mean, I still go about doing teacher training. I enjoy talking with teachers. Yeah, and just basically going back to monitor to see that, oh, they've grown or they are growing. Where do you need help? What do you think we can do? Let's collaborate to do this together, and things like that. So my journey in education has went from like low to up, and then the higher you go, of course, the more responsibility. But if you really want to grow, if you don't want to be on the same spot and things like that, if you really want to be at the peak of this, then you have to be able to give yourself to it, right? We say that some teachers, I've started hearing people say, some teachers are like celebrity teachers. We worked for it. Yes. We worked our heads out to be in that place of recognition, and we're not yet there. We're not yet there. We're also still I'm also still learning every day. Any opportunity to learn like this, you will catch me there. I'm also still learning, I'm also still growing, and that is the way, to keep getting to the top in the profession. If you stay glued on the spot that you were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you will get what is happening, what you'll be getting, the opportunities you'll be getting, the things that will be coming to you are the things that are outdated stuff, right? They are the things that even pay, even in terms of pay, will be what is happening. You won't even have confidence
As
to what demand for something better, because did you get better and things like that, right? So I think I will just stop now for questioning. But yeah, that has been my education journey. I called from one phase to another, gaining. The first phase was relationship. Second phase, gaining mastery. Third phase, feeling. What did I write now? Getting a feel of international school setting. Fourth phase, back to my roots, giving back. Fifth phase, showcasing my leadership, winning awards because I worked for it. And then the last recurrent phase that I mean, instructional leadership, teacher coaching, training, and just basically helping schools achieve positive school culture. Yeah, so that's it.
Wow, it's been an interesting journey all along, and
Yeah.
you mentioned something about moving at every 2 years, and
Oh,
you said you were coming back to it. But now, when you mention this happened before you even went for Teach for Nigeria, and Teach for Nigeria was also 2 years, so it's
yes,
like you had already started preparing yourself for that phase, right? So I would
exactly.
like you to touch on that. And then, secondly, the other question to it is: was Teach for Nigeria? Did it remind you of your service year? Was it like going back to service? Do you understand? Like, was
Mm-hmm.
it, because it just
I,
seemed like you were up here, then you now went back
mm-hmm,
again.
mm-hmm.
So the up and down, it happened like twice. Then
Yeah,
now you're now going forward, 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 forward. Can you
yeah,
like
yeah.
address those two things for us?
Okay, so let me start with the Teach for Nigeria one. So I decided I wasn't going to let the the money matter, right? So I didn't, because I had done it before and I scaled through. So I decided I was going to let the lesser pay um bother me, kind of, right? So it wasn't an issue. The only issue I grappled with was the comfort, that the comfort at work, the comfort at my apartment. And I mean, everything was nice and rosy and comfortable and chill and all of that. See, if you don't want to leave your comfort zone, you can't grow. You will not grow. You just be there. Just be there, you and your comfort zone, until the comfort zone will now become uncomfortable. By the time it becomes uncomfortable, you see that everybody has moved. So if it's time to leave that comfort zone, leave it and go and create comfort in the next available, more comfortable place, right? So yeah, yes, that did happen. What I did after NYSC did happen again with Teach for Nigeria. Another thing is, during my NYSC, I was vice president of my I was in the MDGs. We call it the Millennium Development Goals Community CDS, Community Development Service. I was vice president, and I think that was when I had my first taste of social development. But I wasn't conscious of it. I wasn't fully conscious of it, that oh, we're actually into social development here, because we're trying so hard, doing so much. We did a lot of projects in getting children back to school, especially girls, putting girls, getting girls to go to school, doing a lot of sensitization um against all this child marriage and what have you, and tree planting all over the place and things like that. So we're engaged in, some of those MDG things, but I wasn't fully conscious that, oh, those were aspects of social development. So it was at Teach for Nigeria I gained full consciousness of it, and I knew that that I had to do it. That even if I wasn't going to be doing social development full time, it's something I must engage in till I leave this earth. I must be impacting someone's life. Oh, by the way, currently now I am running Empower Initiative by myself now. I decided to resuscitate, because after Teach for Nigeria, I kind of just dropped it. My partner and I just dropped it. But now I changed focus a little bit. I started September last year again. I changed focus a little bit from the initial focus was to connect women and girls with opportunities for financial inclusion and economic empowerment. But now, what I'm primarily doing now is trying to connect girls with opportunities for scholarships and funding for school. So I've started that. I've started with one girl. I'm working with one girl. I'm self-funding that, so I want to build on that. Thank you, Mary. I want to I mean, she was also one of my students. She was one of my pupils at in Ijebu Ife when I was a Teach for Nigeria fellow, and she's super bright, super bright, and but of course her parents are unable to get her to even continue to secondary school and doing all those. They were even looking for money for common entrance for the government school and all that. But they said that this girl is so bright, too bright to be in a government school. She might just lose all of it if she doesn't get the attention and everything. So she's in a private school now. Yeah, she's in her second term of year 7. That's GSS 1. So I hope to continue to do that till she finishes secondary school and see where we'll take it from there. But before then, hopefully, I mean, I'm thinking maybe this year, maybe one or more other girls can join. I want to just self-build that portfolio, then before we now put it out there and start seeking support and things like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes, and the second one. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. And the second one about staying on a job 2 years.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just the way the universe itself designed it for me. Because I mean, for Teach for Nigeria, for instance, it's just 2 years, whether you like it or not, right? It's just 2 years. So I think the universe just kind of like in agreement. I don't know if I've done 1 year in ALE. I don't know if this is going to be my last year. Maybe it's also going to be 2 years. ALE is a sweet place to work, right? So maybe it's going to be 2 years. But I mean, whatever happens, I know that from here is also something going to be bigger. Can you hear me better?
Yes, I
They
can hear
just
you.
okay. They just restored power, and I'm thinking this one might be disturbing. It's making a noise, but if you're hearing me, it's fine. Okay, so I want to tell you. So when I started in Apollyon, that was the first school after I left the property company. And it's just basic sense that happens in the corporate world. I started on 20,000. By the time I moved to another place, I was earning over, I was paid over double of that. And by the time I was going to leave that place, I mean, I was earning like twice what I started with, right? Then went to Teach for Nigeria, which I knew wasn't for money purposes, right? But after that, after I left Teach for Nigeria, I what my next salary I started on double. Do you understand? I
Yeah.
think that time Teach for Nigeria was paying us maybe what was our stipend? It was not 60K our stipends then. And I started on double at Bloombridge. And by the time I was going to finish at Bloombridge, because of what was I doing? Professional development, this and that, awards and things like that, and promotion and things like that. I was I started getting almost by the time I finished almost 100%. Why did I do that percent? By the time I was leaving Bloomberg, I think I was already like on like maybe like 220 or something like that, or 210 or 220. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within the space of those 2 years, I got 4 salary raises. So it's not magic. It's just what are you giving in? And if you're lucky to work in a place where your input is recognized, you'll be paid for
Exactly.
it. Do you understand? You'll be
Yes.
paid
So
for it.
that's another thing.
If you're in a place where they are not recognizing your input and you know that you are imputing, please move. You'll be documenting your input. Have your
Yeah.
career folder where you are documenting all your input and impact in facts and figures. Then carry that your career folder to another place where they will recognize your input, right? And then by the time I was but now that I'm in with African Leadership Academy, I can't disclose. But now, now, what I'm trying to now bring out of it is, and this is not to mock anyone or anything or spite anyone, but I'm saying that I had
Hello.
colleagues that were in. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
That were in
can.
that first place that are still there and are not, because they are in the same place. They cannot get
Yeah,
that kind of exponential growth.
yeah,
That exponential growth. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's how. So I'm a job hopper, but I mean I don't just hop jobs mindlessly. Even when I'm going to leave a place, they are like, "Ha, you are leaving. Hey, you
yeah,
are leaving." Do you understand? It's like a burden on
yeah,
people's hearts when I'm leaving, because I will make my mark. I will so make my mark. 2 years old, but no, you will know that somebody came, somebody
yeah,
passed by, and things like that. Do you get? Yeah. So
yeah.
if job hopping works for you as it does for me, yeah, please go for it. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to leave a place and because they are putting 10,000 naira increase on what you are collecting before. What's that? Except there are other peculiar issues. Sha. If it works for you, yeah. If it doesn't work for you, don't be among people that complain and say, teachers are poor, teachers are not. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Especially if you are growing yourself, you're growing yourself, then be where you'll be able to showcase it, and you'll be paid for that growth. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So you said something about growing yourself and be in a place where you'll be able to showcase it. For instance, I did one. I did I did different trainings, like one with UNESCO MGI EP,
yeah.
and where I was does not recognize anything like that. Okay, even when I try to, it's just like I'm using it in my own space. I try to get other teachers involved, and it's like, oh, your own is too much. Like digital teacher, being a digital teacher, and then I did the first stage, and then I now became a trainer to train other digital teachers and all that. Even also became SEL, like social and emotional learning.
Emotional learning.
Yes, I'm a professional in that. And it just seemed like where I was, because these things are new to them, they don't know it and all that. So I just, okay, let me just keep all these things. When the time is right, I'll be able to use them. It was just in my last place, right? And then why I'm even talking about this was the SDG own. When I
Yeah,
started out, because you're even supposed to like let your school get involved and then
yeah.
introduce it to other teachers and all that. And I was trying to do that, but the um the head teacher was telling me, no, 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 no. Like, just do it in your own space. Don't come and use it to disrupt our setting and all that. And I felt bad. Okay, so by the time I was done with my program, I got my certification and all that. Then the next set, I now told the head teacher that, okay, let's announce to teachers that the training is up again. This trainings, you're not paying for it, but they are international trainings that will help you. Let's
Yeah.
announce teachers. He said no. Like, I can tell teachers one on one, but he's not going to do it from the school platform. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you can imagine something like that. These are things that
Okay,
would
so
face school, but they were not ready to embrace it
yeah.
because of the people that were in leadership at that point in time.
So yeah, we yes, sometimes it might be unfortunate that we are in spaces where they don't recognize innovation and will not embrace it. Then you know that that place is not for you. You know that that place is not for you. Those things you took time to get those certifications and go through those programs to grow. And if you're not going to be making impact with it, then they're basically used. I always say it's any certificate and everything that you get, and you're not using it to make impact. Either whether the impact is monetized or not, but impact that someone else is getting better out of what you have learned, what out of the skill you have gained, and things like that, then it's just paper, whether e-paper
Exactly.
or physical paper,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So that's my pain point at this moment, because it just seems like I just gathered all those things and I'm not able to, not because I don't want to, but because of the environment I found myself. So because I'm also a teacher in church, in the junior church.
Yeah.
So I started taking the SDG there and teaching the children in the church, right? Introducing it to them and all that. As much as um, the opportunities I have could allow me. So that was how I was getting my own fulfillment. At least I'm
Yeah.
not just keeping quiet about this thing. I'm doing it.
Yes.
But beyond just telling them, there are aspects where you want to carry out projects and all that. You can't really do all of
True.
that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the dilemma I am like, just have the certification, but you're not using it you're not using it for any good and all that.
So when you're going to, I would say that if I were in that situation, when I'm going to, obviously I'm going to look out, because they will choke my creativity, they will choke my ability to grow, because my ability to use those things to impact others also mean that I'm also growing. And so if I see that they will just want to truncate all of that, honestly, I will look for some place else. The way I will write application, even cold applications to schools, the type of schools that I will target, and tell them this is the skill I have. This is that I always say it. Don't forget any work that you've done. Oh. Be putting recording everything in your career folder. Don't forget any work, any impact, any change that you're able to lead and make it happen. Don't forget to record all of them. Just be writing coding by the time they see this kind of things, that oh, this person is so passionate about these things, as solve these problems where they came from, or where they're about to live, and all of that. They're the ones that will come and poach you by themselves. Another thing is, what we constantly do, talk about these things on social media. Have a platform for it, talk about it, keep sharing your knowledge. The thing is, no knowledge is wasted. If it's not used, however, it becomes rusty, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so keep look for, just generate topics around any of those things, and teach people, talk to people about it. If eventually, for instance, during when it comes to the time where schools do training and all of that, write proposals to school. I can train on this and that, right? Write proposals to schools, send it out and all of that. If you write to 100 schools, at least you will get 2 or 3 that will be interested to say, oh, we've not heard this before, okay, come. But of course, it also depends on the way that you project it, you project the value of it, and things like that. But yeah, you will find your audience, and you will find the place that will recognize what you do. And let's just say that for whatever reason it happens that you don't, then you're going to now be the one to create that space where what you do is recognized. For instance, I always say that from the level of work I did with managers, especially in my previous employments, the level of work that I did with like every manager, every we had, I think, 4 or 5 VPs. Everyone always had their team and everything. And I'm saying it categorically, if they are watching I will even be blessed if they are watching this thing right now. I'm saying it categorically that I gave myself. I was so that I was valuable. I was so valuable. Everybody wanted me on their team. If they anything they want to do when they're plotting their programs for the year, each of their departments, maybe the VP in charge of tech, or the VP in charge of senior school, the VP in charge of junior school, whatever, when they are plotting their programs, Temitope Ifegbesan will be there. Yes, it was leading to burnout for me, because our daughter of God was going to was using it. It was leading to extreme burnout for me, but it grew me. Honestly speaking, it grew me. So what I wanted to say that led me to that. No, I mustn't lose my train of thought. what I wanted to say that led me to that, I was saying before that if you don't if you don't find the space, then you
Great.
create the space. I wanted to say something. That was what made me say that, but now I can't remember. But then basically create the space. If I remember, maybe before we finish, I will talk about it. Create the space for those things to be showcased. Create the space for those skills to be harnessed. If somebody else is not giving you the space, please just start just start looking for how you will do it by yourself and for yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. See, it was just one question I asked you, and we've spoken extensively. Am I going to be able to ask the other questions about
Ask for away.
your memorable
Ask.
moments, the challenges you face, and all that? Like,
Hmm.
okay,
My memorable moment was my memor. I think my most memorable moment was when I got, or one of my most memorable moments when I got this award for professional development. I know that me, I like, okay, let me not say before everybody will think, people always actually say that I like book. So let me just not, no, I just like learning. I just like getting better and learning something new and things like that. I just like it. Before you think I actually like book. So when I got that award for best in professional development, I'm looking at the award, that's what I'm looking up. Is up, the plaque is right up there. I think it was surreal. It was good to see that the efforts I was putting in was recognized. I think there is no teacher that would not even want to do more. When they get that kind of thing. So I think that was one of my.
how did it get recognized? Like, were you letting
Yeah,
the school know?
me, yes, me. Let me tell you, Mary. I get a certification like this. I'm emailing it to HR. Dear
Okay.
Mr. So. I would like to, I want to use this opportunity to inform you that I've just completed this course, or I've just completed this certification. It was a 6 month. I will not tell them about it, but it was a 6 month course, rigorous. This. I was spending 8 hours, at least 8 hours a week. That. So you know that in the midst of all the work that I was doing here,
Yeah.
I was there. Do you get? So
Yeah.
everything, I always inform the child.
Okay.
Everything. They did not send
Well,
me, but I was always informing them. I always say
yeah.
keep records of your portfolio, your keep records of the mark that you are making. Keep a record. You won't know the day it will answer.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, that
Thank you.
also, and I think maybe another memorable event would be when these children, this gender discrimination thing I told you about. I mean, the teacher and I planned that lesson, and then seeing the children take complete ownership of it. I mean, from school presentation to school wide campaign to parents campaign. No, as in they were doing it.
I was also
I
going
would
to
share.
ask. Sorry, I was also going to ask on this particular topic. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes like you find that in the scheme of work is one topic per week and
Yeah.
all that.
Mhm.
But this lasted for like 3 weeks, right?
It lasted three
That was
weeks.
why
So I think
that was
on
why
the
we were able
curriculum,
to achieve all the things.
yes, yes.
I can't
According to
imagine
the
it was just
teacher,
1 week or one period.
yeah, according to the teacher, she told me it was 2 weeks. She told
Okay.
me it was 2 weeks, but we still extended it to 3 weeks for the children. So the last week the children were doing their thing, right? However, I know that another topic would probably have maybe suffered in quotes, but maybe not suffered, because some of the things I teach my teachers, or I work with my teachers about, is we do a lot of flipped learning. We flip lessons a lot. So the children, they maybe watch videos about the content, or read articles about the content already, so that when we come to class, we just have conversations, we get their feeling. We're not just saying, so the civil war happened in 1911, and this is what happened, the end. We're not just doing that. What to how does it make you feel? When they are able to impute their or generate feelings out of those things, they are able to think critically, they're able to, you know, rub minds together
Think,
about those
yeah.
things, though they were not there. It will help them, it will guide them to, know what to do in this present day, right? Because they're able to interact with those situations, and do role plays, do project based stuff. They interact so much with it, it becomes their own. So sometimes, even if we feel like, oh, one lesson that's supposed to take place, we have used it to do gender based, we'll always find a way around it,
So
right? Yeah. So that's it. So teachers, I mean, flip your lessons. There are so many methodologies, especially if you're working with higher, if you're, for instance, primary school from 4, 5, 6, you can easily flip lessons.
yeah.
You can even primary, so even some primary three, if it's videos and all of that, you can, and there are resources, tons of resources that you can use for whatever lesson. Just make sure you vet videos before you give children video to go and watch at home. You consume the content first and make sure it is safe for the children to consume it. And then come back to class and have a lot of conversation. You will see that by the time you are going to your next class, you will not feel this burnout from talking for 1 full hour, then going to the next class and going to the next class, and then your children are getting better for it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you. It's been amazing, amazing, amazing,
Yeah, you're
amazing.
welcome.
I
Thank
know
you.
you've touched on some of the challenges you faced along.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the main challenges was the burnout. I felt, particularly on my last job. It was I know I burnt out. I even had mental health challenges, honestly, but I grew. I'm always saying, don't give and give and give and give and give. By the time you now finish giving, you now leave the place, you now be saying, who am I? Because you cannot find yourself. I was growing, I grew. Don't let me lie. I grew seriously, right? So that
So
was
that's
one
the
challenge.
problems. Like if you really want to grow, there will be that point where you will get to burnout
Yeah,
because you will be giving
definitely.
so much of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You will not even be there. You will deprive yourself of a lot of things
You have to actually. You have to.
just to get to the next level.
Yeah. So another challenge, and a time that was a challenging time, was when one of my leaders, one of my managers, because we was still at the same place, but because I was trying to just say no this time around. Like, I mean, I never say no to anything, but this time around, I decided, let me just say no. So I wasn't going to take this extra task. So I said, ma, no, no, because kete kete, like they will say in Yoruba, we always do all the work. You now kill kete kete with work. I mean, we had about, well, maybe like over 40 teaching staff. There's someone else that can do a
And
particular
do
task.
it
Doesn't always have to be. I mean, there were people
actually.
that they were not growing. They don't have any extra additional task apart from the subjects that they teach,
Mm.
and things revolving around the subject. They were there. They are. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I can
So it
identify what you're
depends
saying
on the
because
type of
sometimes you
person
don't
you.
like, why must it be me? Everything you want to
Yeah,
do, you have to come and call me.
exactly. So
The
that
other
day I
people they're
said no.
sleeping and playing
Yes,
and
grow them
gisting.
too. Give them opportunity to grow. Delegate to them to give them opportunity to grow as well. I believe. Mhm. So I believe that one ways to also grow people as a leader. Don't just watch people sit by because they are like they will not just ordinarily come and jump on tasks. Then you also leave them, and then you now want to start to finish one person. However, so one day, this my leader that I told no said that, called me and said, I was lazy. I did not tell you one of my very amazing moments. I just remember, no, 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 no. How did I forget that? So we had these external assessors come, but see this past school. We had these external assessors come and all of that. And after the assessors for I think a couple of days or like a whole week and things like that. So I was pronounced very good with outstanding features and things like that. You get among how many staff in boarding school alone were like over 40 or thereabouts, not in that talk of in day school and things like that. And I was just up there. It was a very great moment because all of the things I had been learning, all of the courses I had been taking on Coursera, this and that, I just put everything to play to use in the classrooms that they observed me, and it worked. It worked. And of course I think I got a raise for it. I got a promotion for it. I think that was when I became after that I became year level head and things like that. So yeah, so that's one of my beautiful moments. So I'll go back to this one time that I was so sad, and this woman, I told her no. I mean, I didn't tell her no in agro styles. I have some agro capacities. I just told her, ma, no, I know I can't take this on. Honestly, I'm doing so much right now. I can't take this on. And she goes to say, Temitope, you are lazy.
Ah.
You are very lazy. I was stunned. And then now goes to spite what the external assessors gave me, that I don't even know what you did, that they are telling you that you are outstanding. I'm telling you, I cry as in this thing. I think is a strong person. Hey, I wept. You know, that not someone just not crying. No, I wept for days. As in my eyes were swollen. Like for days, I was crying. Every time I just remembered it, I would just start crying because I said one single no. And as in all these days that I've been working like a jackass, I did not say no, and I said no to one thing. So for me, one of the things it taught me is how not to give feedback, or in fact, for all of the leaders that I worked with, I learned how am going to work with people that are my subordinates, how I will treat them and how I will not treat them. So I'm thankful for the people that were hard and the people that were not, and the
Yeah.
people, yes, because from them I've learned how I'm going to work with people, but making sure that whatever happens, their dignity is intact. They are my colleagues. I will not ever rubbish any colleague or rubbish the work of any colleague. So yeah.
Wow. 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 Thank you very much. We've spent over an hour, and the discussion is not even ending. Like I'm just enjoying listening to you,
Thank
right?
you,
Because I'm
Mary.
also learning, and I know that everyone that is going to watch or everyone that is watching already, this has something to learn.
Yeah.
Please, me, I'm not leaving you. Just know that when this phase of my life is over,
Mary, we are
I'm going
together
to
now. We've always been together. We are together. We
all
are
right. So
together.
please, just so that we don't keep you any longer, you've had a long day. You went out in the morning and all that. Just give
Yeah.
us final words. What advice will you give to upcoming teachers and all that?
So I would say, there, whether you're upcoming or you're already there, please pick a pencil, plot a graph. Eh? A graph that will be molded into the sand of time, that so came by. This is the impact. Temitope passed here. This is the impact. Don't be that teacher that nobody feels their value. We're teachers in the first place because we carry so much value. If you haven't, if you don't know, if you haven't found the reason why you are a teacher, please go back to the drawing board and find what is my why. If you don't have a why and you want to still stay in this profession, then develop it and pursue it passionately in the midst of all you do. don't leave this profession without making an impact, without letting your name, while you are there, letting your presence be felt, and while you are gone, letting your name keep ringing. That even new people that will come after you've left, they'll meet you and say, "Oh, I heard about you." Right? That's my experience. Last year, around August, September, I went back to the school that I last worked in, to offer some training. I did a 3 day, training with some admin. If they didn't know that this person, when she was here, she carried value. She was winning professional development, this and that. She was getting promotion here and there. If I didn't carry value, I wouldn't be the one they will call back, right? To come and
Yeah.
get those things done for them. So what value are you delivering? Now, lastly, as you drop value, as you deliver value to the kids, as you deliver value to the school, to the management and all of that, what value are you delivering to you? What are you delivering to you? Seller.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank
Like,
you, Mary.
it
Thank
was
you.
amazing having this conversation with you. You know,
Thank you
when
so much
when
for having me.
when people hear, oh, the Millionaire Teacher Show, my story, my journey, some people just make light of it. That, what are they talking about? But I mean, when you learn from other people's stories and their journeys, it
Yeah.
helps you. It helps you put a check on yourself. Okay, what are the areas that I'm not doing right, that I need to do right?
Yeah.
What are the things that I need to learn to take me to the next level? Because
Yeah.
when you hear people's stories, you will learn.
Yes,
I know
absolutely.
a lot of times they say Africans don't like to read, they don't like to learn, and all that. Okay, so now this is not into a book. This is somebody coming to share their life experience and all that, so that you can learn from it and not make the same errors or mistakes that they've
Yeah.
made, and just so that your own path will be easier,
Easier,
right?
yes.
That's the
Yes.
whole essence, the whole essence of this, to
Yes.
help teachers grow and groom and
Thank
bloom.
you. Mm-hmm.
So,
Thank
so
you. Thank you. Because it's also
let
a sacrifice that you're making for people to get this for free. Yeah. So thank you.
yeah.
We should also celebrate you, Mary.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that you came today. You gave of
Yeah,
yourself,
you're welcome.
you gave of your time, and you did not hold back. You were sharing unconditionally. I really appreciate that. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
It was a pleasure
Mary.
having you. So if you've not subscribed to our channel, please click on the subscription button.
Please
Don't
subscribe,
make,
click on the notification button. There is
yeah, so
so
that
much
you get
value that is
notified.
being dished out here. Honestly, please subscribe, 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 and tell other people. Get people in your corners, in your spheres of influence, other teachers, new teachers, old teachers. Let everybody just come learn. Let everybody just come learn. Please subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and thank you to our guest, Temitope
Thank you too.
Ifegbesan. As in that your name,
I was telling somebody
Ifegbesan.
today, I was telling them today that okay, one of the panelists said that when they type in his name that they should add something 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 because there are a couple of other people. I said when you get on the internet, type in Temitope, just one of a kind, just one person, just
There's only one
only
Ifegbesan.
one Temitope Ifegbesan.
Yes, so yes, so there are not two
Oh
of
my
you.
god.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much, Mary. It's been such an
It was such
honor
an
being
honor.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So today, this is the end of the show for today. See you next time, same
Yeah.
time, with another guest. Thank you. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye,
Bye.
Mary.
Thank you.